What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here, and I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of my Hexagon series. Well, it's the 7th of December, and the MLS season is officially over. The MLS Cup winner has been crowned, but we'll get to that. We'll show you also how we did in the playoffs, as well as the final stats for the team as a whole. Also, going forward, the draw for the CONCACAF Champions League is right around Christmas time. So we won't find out which team we're going to be facing, one of the eight, until Christmas. So that'll be covered in the next episode. We'll come back right before we play whoever it is we draw against in that time. So let's take a look at the competitions, the schedule, and as you can see from previous MLS, we go all the way down here, and right at the very bottom was the final match we played after Aribe Unido. It was against Chicago Fire, and it was a very boring 0-0 draw. No cards, only one injury for the Fire, but overall it was a completely boring match. Only one shot on target for us. Not much else to talk about after that. So then we move on to the MLS Cup playoffs, and we're going to go match by match. The first match we faced off against Columbus Crew. I don't remember who they defeated to get to here, but in the first leg we drew against them 1-1. Alex Parmenter getting the goal for Columbus, Fumasa picking up a goal for us to level it with just 10 minutes to go. And for all these matches, I'm going to be showing the virtual highlights just so you can see how each goal was scored. The first goal for Columbus Crew was off of a very bad clearance on our part. Nice swing in and cross, and was able to find the head of one of the players, Parmenter, on the near post and beating Marie. We did answer back as in the 80th minute. This one is actually going to be a little bit long of a highlight as there's several back and forth passes nearly end to end, which did cap in a goal for us, Fumasa getting on the end of it. Dave Jones to Fumasa, who was running onside barely, and knotted the match up at one apiece, knotted the leg up at one apiece. And this was at Columbus Crew Stadium, so we did have the fortune of playing the second leg at home, which we defeated the Columbus Crew, our quote-unquote bitter rivals, 3-0, which of course would have put us up 4-1 on aggregate. I'm trying to math, and I cannot math right now. The first goal was scored in the 15th minute off of a bouncing ball there in the box. Excuse me. Zach Strand getting that right there. In the 35th minute, however, Columbus Crew were trying to answer right back as off of a corner kick. They had several opportunities, several solid chances. However, strong defense on our side prevented them from getting a single shot off, as this is once again another highlight. A good dispossessed by Fumasa, who, once again, box to box. And I try and remember, that's why I'm playing these for you. There's a lot of midfield play, a lot of midfield build-up, but this is going to be the goal. Tabiazi, who then passes it through, slots it through to Zach Strand, who is just onside, picking up his second goal of the day. And Columbus Crew did have a little bit of attacking momentum, did get a few chances on the day, but they were not enough to match the attacking might that was Toronto FC. As Tabiazi bounces one off a defender, and Zivkovic there with the rebound makes it 3-0, 4-1 on aggregates, and Toronto FC moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. In the Eastern Conference Finals, we took on another one of our bitter rivals, and that was the Montreal Impact. And as you can see in the first leg at home, we defeated them 3-0. A brace by Dave Jones and another goal by Andres Franco. A little less shots than we took during the Columbus Crew match, but overall, same result. 15 shots, 8 of them on target. Montreal only getting 6 and 1. I think they're banking on going back home, where they're extremely tough to play. And they do have two homes in this game. They have Saputo Stadium, which is their normal home, but for big matches they use the Olympic Stadium there in Montreal, which they can get up to about 60,000 people. I don't know how much home crowd factors into it. I know location factors into it, but the distance between Toronto and Montreal not all that big. So fatigue wouldn't come into the factor. Both Toronto goals scored by Dave Jones in the early doors, both scored within the first 15 minutes, and right there, actually it was Andres Franco scoring the second goal there, and right there I knew that we had Montreal on the ropes. There was no way for them to come back. And then just after the hour mark, after a little pinball around in the box, the ball will eventually fall to Dave Jones. And Dave Jones is going to pick up a rebound off of a keeper's spillage, making it 3-0 after the first leg. And we were sitting completely in the driver's seat. Second leg, not much different as we defeated them 2-1 away from home and booking our ticket back to the MLS Cup Finals, which apparently Toronto FC haven't gone since 2018. So first time in 13 years Toronto FC getting into the MLS Cup Finals. And at the expense of taking out two rivals, apparently made the fans very happy. Both teams having roughly the same amount of shots, 23-19. Montreal having more on target and actually getting off to the start first after 7 minutes. Montreal getting themselves a goal, putting them right in the match. It was 3-1 on aggregate at this point. They still needed two more, but the defense kept shutting them down. Yes, they took several shots on target, but Maurier being a stalwart at the net. That was a missed header by the defender, and Zach Strand just slotting it right underneath the goalkeeper. 1-1, 4-1 on aggregate, and you could bet that with even though there was still a lot of match left to go, it was all over. And then it was all over at this point. 77 minutes gone off of a free kick. Jean-Jacques Naret capping the match. 2-1, 5-1 on aggregate, and booking us to a trip to the finals. In the Western Conference, you had Los Angeles, you had Portland, you had San Jose, all those teams having legitimate shots to actually make it into the finals, but it was the LA Galaxy eventually being the team that we faced, and wouldn't you know it, I said I wasn't going to cover the finals, but we did win the MLS Cup 2-0 versus the LA Galaxy. Zach Strand and Zivkovic picking up goals both in the second half. Toronto FC completely outclassing, outbossing LA Galaxy. First goal coming off of a penalty from a really nasty tackle. Zach Strand slotting it home and putting us up 1-0 after 52 minutes. But just take a look at the shot differential. 23 for us, 10 for Los Angeles, 12 of them being on target. This is going to be a little bouncer that's going to fall to Zivkovic at the very end, and he's just going to slot it home from about 10 yards away. 15 yards, right from the penalty spot. Zivkovic making it 2-0, and that will eventually be your final as Toronto FC are MLS Cup champions, and not only do we get the benefit of being second in the Supporters' Shield, but winning the MLS Cup would automatically book us into the CONCACAF Champions League for next year. So we're doubly booked, I guess you could say, to get us into the CONCACAF Champions League. So I'm not worried about playing next season. I would like to win the Canadian Championship outright, just so I can, say with a screen, you're going to the CONCACAF Champions League. But after all that, it is actually, this was played today. I forgot. I thought it was the day after. But after all that, now we need to focus on the off season. The money is running tight. I know I'm going to be selling players. Cordero actually is already gone. He actually left right before the start of the Montreal match. If we take a look at our trades out, actually it wouldn't be a trade out. It would be just a straight transfer. Cordero went to Örebro SK, which I believe is in the Danish league. No, Swedish league. So he went to Örebro, which freed up £235,000 out of my money, so I can play around with that a little bit more. And we got $1.5 million out of him, which wasn't that bad. I don't believe I signed him on for anything. Let me take a look back last season. Did I sign him on for much money? Okay, I made a £300,000 profit off of him. Not bad. But with the ability they had, and he wasn't really producing all that much this season, I think it was better for me to get rid of him and then redistribute that money towards the squad to try and build it up around, get more people in. And actually, Zivkovic has come to me. Zivkovic came to me right before the MLS Cup final saying, hey, boss, when are you going to bring more players around? We're looking a little thin, which I agree. I believe we only have 16, 17 players on the roster at current. That definitely needs a boost before we get to our Champions League match. We need as many players as possible just so we can cover bases in case of injuries and whatnot. So I'll definitely be dipping into the transfer market, even the trade market as well, so I can bring in players or get more draft picks, whatever, to develop younger players. We'll see how this goes about over the next 2-3 months. The waiver draft is going to be coming up in a few days. The super draft is in January. I want to say the second waiver draft is in February or March. So there are plenty of opportunities to get more players to help build up the squad and to do it in such a way that I don't have to spend a lot of money. You know, the MLS salary cap not as favorable as I want it to be, but at the same time, I knew the rules coming in. I knew I'd have to be playing under a certain amount of money, and for that to happen, I need to go out and find cheap players. So, at the end of that little rant, let's take a look at how the squad did at the very end of the season. Let's take a look at who scored the most goals, who set up the most goals, and take a look at average ratings. So, the biggest goal scorer, no surprise, Zach Strand with 31 goals through 46 matches played. Yes, he did play a ton up front. He was the only real out-and-out striker that I played consistently up front. Dave Jones coming in every now and then, especially since I played him out on the right. He did sit up front for the time when Zach Strand and Tab Yazzie were away at the Gold Cup. So that's where I want to say that's where 5 of his 15 goals came from, were when he was playing up there during the Gold Cup break. He also did have the most amount of assists though, with 19. So that's the benefits of playing out on the wing. Yeah, you may get a couple goals from time to time, but you're going to feed everybody who's sitting up front. So he fed Zivkovic, he fed Strand, he fed Fumasa, and Tab Yazzie and Andres Franco got in there from time to time. Speaking of which, Zivkovic and Fumasa getting 10 and 8 goals apiece. Tab Yazzie with 5, same with Andres Franco, playing back a little too far to be consistent goal scorers, but whatever, they contributed more to developing the play than actually scoring. And as I said before, Dave Jones with the most assists on the squad with 19. Andres Franco second with 15. They're the only 2 with double digits. The next closest, Zach Strand getting 9, Tab Yazzie with 8, and Hamzawi with 8. And as far as average rating goes, Greg Dillon, in his short time with us before sending him off on loan, he got a 7.62, but I don't really count that. Dave Jones with a 7.54 is your out-and-out winner in terms of average rating for the club. And I want to say that's mostly due to the amount of assists, the amount of chances he created sitting there on the right wing. Second came Andres Franco with 7.31 and Zach Strand with a 7.29. So taking a look forward, I'm going up and down the squad. Rottenmeier is definitely not staying on as goalkeeper. I would love to try and sign Maurier, if not to another loan, try to sign him on full-time. We'll see how that goes about. Haji, his contract is expiring at the end of Feyenoord's season, so I'm going to look to try and sign him on fully if I can. If I can bring him on non-designated, that'd be amazing. As you can see, his contract expires June 30th of next year, so if Feyenoord don't re-up his contract, I'd love to be all over that. Jean-Jacques Naret, out of all the defenders, it'd be either Jean-Jacques Naret or Minnie Webster that are going to be heading out, mostly because, in Naret's case, he is an international player, so I need to free up some international slots. I'm going to be losing one, I know at least, so I'll be dropped down to 9 as a maximum instead of 10. Um, I think people are coming after Hamzawi as well, so that'd be another international slot free. But other than that, I definitely need to try and focus my off-season gains on the defensive side, reestablish a better defensive presence. If I'm going to be losing a lot of center backs, so I'm going to be losing the defensive mid. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the draft, in the transfers, in the trades. So when are we going to be coming back? Well, let's take a look at the schedule. Let's take a look at the Champions League and take a look at the calendar. The calendar says the group stage will start on the 25th of February. So guess what? We will be coming back on the 25th of February, as that'll be enough time to go over who we brought into the squad, who left, how much money we got for these people, as well as go over who we're going to be facing. I would love for it to be, if I take a look at see who's available, I'd love for it to be either FC Dallas. I'd love for it to be Tempete, because Tempete is from Haiti. They seem to be the weakest out of the bunch. I'd love to try and stay away from the Mexican squads as much as possible, but there are 3 of them in there, so I'm going to be coming across one of them sooner or later. I just hope I don't get one in a quarterfinal draw. But I guess I'd love to have either FC Dallas or Tempete going forward. Alright, so that's going to be the end of this episode. Like I said, I'm really sorry I wasn't really focused all much on the MLS Cup playoffs, and wouldn't you know it, I actually won the whole damn thing. So when we come back, it will be the Champions League quarterfinal, and we'll see who we're going to be facing, and go over everything that happened within the last 2.5 months that would have passed since then. So until that time, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Comments, suggestions, questions, anything else, please leave in the comment box below. But as always, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next episode. And the next video. Though they're one and the same. Whatever. Take care, and peace out.